All right, so Bitcoin has pulled back pretty drastically over the last week or so. We are up nicely from the bottoms on, I think it was Wednesday. It was Wednesday was the first. We closed at about, it actually got a little bit below 57,000 US, just a tiny bit below. Again, we're up very nicely. We're up around 63, 64 at the time of me making this, which is the night before I'm going to release it. So again, we're up nicely from there. But I mean, if you look at the chart over the year, we have been trending down ever since the high on, it looks like it was March 13th, just over $73,000 US per coin. Now again, a lot of people are, there's some people that are panicking, but people are getting a little bit concerned, and I wanted to make this video to tell people, to give my opinion. Again, I would stress it's just my opinion, but there's no need to panic. And the reason for that is, if you hadn't known the price going back a month or two or three, would you be concerned? And the answer to that is absolutely not, because what news have we gotten over the last 3 or 4 months, 5 months, that gives you any reason to be bearish? Like, absolutely nothing has happened. In fact, quite the opposite. We had the American ETFs come out in January. Now we have Hong Kong. We have several other Asian ones. I think there is even some more European ones that are coming out. So why in the world would you be bearish with all that news? And again, something to point out here is, after the US ETFs were released, they trended down for the next, looks like probably 2 or 3 weeks. It wasn't until about a month after the US ETFs were released till we actually seen that uptrend. So I think, again, I would stress it's my opinion, but I think that this is just a temporary lull, in that, I mean, the way markets work in general is, typically they're always trying to filter out the weak hands, whether it's stocks, and again, the more volatile, typically, the harder it's going to be. And typically, when you're looking at the best of the best, the stocks that perform the best over the long run, they tend to be more volatile than the market as a whole. And again, Bitcoin is even more volatile than the vast majority of stocks. So my point here is very simple. I think that this is just an attempt to filter out the weak hands, and that a lot of people think the halving, the Asian ETFs, it's going to be straight to the moon. And again, that's not how it works. And again, what am I going off when I make this prediction of this hypothesis? Well, what I'm going on is the whales are overwhelmingly still either holding or buying. When you look at the people that are selling, it's vast majority of them are the retail, the Wall Street bets types, and the traders. And a lot of people say, oh, the halving, it happened, whatever it was, a couple weeks ago, and I thought that this was going to be so amazing. And again, people don't understand. The halving isn't some light switch. I mean, it is in the sense of the mining reward, the block reward, but it's not the pricing. It's not going to adjust right off the bat, because, I mean, let's just give an example here. I don't know the number off the top of my head, but I would venture to guess that there is probably in the hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin just sitting on exchanges, on all of the exchanges, across the world. And when you go from there's literally like a few hundred less Bitcoin being minted per day. So if you divide, I don't know, 500,000, or even if it's 200,000, whatever the number is, divide 200,000 by 300, it's going to take, in theory, several hundred days for that to get completely filtered through. So when it comes to the price appreciation post-halving, it's not going to happen instantly. In fact, if you go back to the last halving, 2021 was the year where things really took off. It wasn't 2020. I mean, it went from Canadian, I think it was around 10,000, or maybe like 8,000 or 9,000 at the halving, to maybe like 30,000 by the end of the year. So again, that's a crazy increase. But again, it went to as high as about 85. So, I mean, based on percentages, it's about the same. But I think what's going to happen is, again, we're going to see a little low period, and I think we're going to see a 3-4 month period like we did from whatever that was, October through March. So again, that was less than 5 months. That was just over 4.5 months. I think we're going to see a 4-month period roughly, whether it's the summer, fall, or whether it's the fall to the end of the year. Maybe it starts next week. Nobody knows what's going to happen. But I think we're going to see a 3, 4, 5, 6 month period where we go up 50, 100%, like we did here. Again, we were at 27,000. I mean, what were we at? Let's say exactly, would that be 7 months ago? We were at roughly 27 a coin, roughly 28,000 a coin. So again, we're up over 100%. That's like 110, 120% return in 7 months. So I think that will happen over the next year. I think we're going to see another 50, 100% over the next 6 months to a year, and over in 2025 we probably go up another 50, 100%. My prediction is still 200,000-300,000 a coin this cycle, maybe even higher, maybe lower. No, again, nobody knows. But my whole point here, like I said, is do not panic over short-term fluctuations. The only reason you should be selling if something fundamental changes, and nothing fundamental has changed. In fact, something fundamental has changed, but it's bullish. It's not bearish. When you have Asian ETFs coming out, when you have the halving, that is bullish, not bearish. Again, the only thing that concerns me over the short to medium term when it comes to Bitcoin is a potential stock market crash. But if that happens, what's going to happen? The Fed's going to cut rates, they're going to do QE infinity, etc., and that will only be bullish over the long run. So in my opinion, again, I could be wrong here, but in my opinion, there's absolutely no reason to be bearish on Bitcoin, like absolutely nothing. Like if someone would have said 5 years ago that we would have ETFs across the world that have billions and billions of dollars of inflows, people would be like, oh my God, I'm going to try to buy as much as I possibly can. Like if someone would have told you this 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, even a year ago, you'd be trying to buy as much as you possibly could. So again, why, given that information, are you bearish? Even 6 months ago, if someone would have told you where we're at right now 6 months ago, we're going to have ETFs, all these ETFs coming out, why would you be bearish? And again, the other point here I wanted to touch on from Michael Saylor, each month Square will be investing 10% of their gross profit into Bitcoin. Right? Again, this is the start of something special because, again, you only have a handful of corporations right now that hold Bitcoin on their balance sheet, namely MicroStrategy, but you also have Square, you also have Tesla. Again, there's a handful of other ones. This is a sign of things to come. Again, this is absolutely a sign of things to come. Why is that? Because inflation's going to remain sticky. And again, over the longer run, I think people are going to be less and less wanting to hold treasuries in any country's currency. And because of that, they got to put it somewhere. And it's going to go gold. We'll definitely get some of it. But Bitcoin's going to get a lot of it too. Again, the one problem with gold and Bitcoin is the liquidity aspect of it. But I think that's something that they're both going to get better at. But again, Bitcoin is going to advance with technology. Again, someone's going to come out with a way to massively increase the liquidity of Bitcoin. That's going to happen. I mean, it already is happening, but it's going to happen. And again, another reason I think that people that we've had a little bit of a pullback is the transaction fees have gone up recently, and that's because a lot of these companies spiking the chain with these ordinals and all this garbage, and that's something that people should be speaking out on. Absolutely, that's something that people should be speaking out on. But again, the main thing here to get at is I just wanted to kind of talk a little bit about it, because I haven't talked a little about Bitcoin in a little bit. But again, the best thought experiment, like I already brought up, that people can do is, if you just hypothetically, there's some magical way, you had avoided seeing the price of Bitcoin for the last month or 2 or 3, would you have any reason to be bearish? And so the answer to that question is no, like absolutely not. So again, who cares that it's down 10 or 15% from its all-time high? Like, who cares? The halving, it's going to take a while to get it priced in. Again, the bears will say, oh yeah, it already was priced in, like Peter Schiff and all these idiots. But these are the guys that have been wrong all along. Why would you keep trusting them? They've been wrong the whole time. What makes you think this time is different? So again, that's my point there. The halving is not priced in. I mean, to an extent, I think I wouldn't say it's literally 0%, but we haven't seen the effects of the halving because, again, there's still going to be hundreds of thousands of coins. Again, I don't know what the exact number is, but it's very significant, of coins that are just sitting on exchanges. So we haven't seen anywhere close to the full effects of the halving yet. And we haven't seen anywhere close to the full effects of the ETFs yet. I mean, the Asian ones just came out. And on top of that, again, this right here is a sign of things to come. So anyway, that's what I wanted to bring up today. Again, I could go forever on this topic, but again, I'll keep it somewhat short here. So again, if you liked the video, please like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff, and stay tuned for more.